The beauty of simplicity. We live in a world of constant complexity. Every day we're bombarded with information, options, and choices. From what to eat, wear, and watch, to more significant decisions about our career, relationships, and future, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Our digital world has brought us many advantages, but it has also created a culture of excess of everything: opinions, consumerism, ambitions, desires. This complexity weighs on us, often leaving us stressed, distracted, and disconnected from our true selves. In a time where more is so often seen as better, it's no wonder that many of us feel like we're drowning in the unnecessary. That's why simplicity, a concept as ancient as philosophy itself, has never been more vital. To simplify is not to sacrifice. It's to reclaim what truly matters. The Stoics, one of history's greatest philosophical schools, taught that inner peace and happiness come from reducing unnecessary desires, focusing on what's in your control, and simplifying your life. By decluttering both your external world and your inner life, you create space for clarity, purpose, and tranquility. Simplicity is a powerful force, one that allows us to return to the core of our existence, our true purpose, and our path to contentment. In this conversation, we will explore how Stoic wisdom can guide us toward a simpler, more meaningful life. You will discover practical ways to simplify your mindset, emotions, relationships, and goals. Along the way, you'll realize that simplicity doesn't just free up time and energy. It unlocks your potential, sharpens your focus, and helps you live in alignment with your values. Let us begin this journey to discover the quiet power of simplicity. The Stoic origins of simplicity. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature, which, to them, meant understanding the world's natural order and recognizing what we can and cannot control. At the heart of this philosophy is simplicity. They believed that our well-being was largely dependent on how well we could remove unnecessary complexity from our lives. The Stoic concept of living a simple life, free from excessive desires and distractions, is closely tied to their ideas of virtue and tranquility. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, and one of Stoicism's greatest advocates, emphasized the importance of eliminating distractions and focusing on what truly matters. In his meditations, he wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less." Or more accurately, do what's essential, what the logos of a social being requires, and in the requisite way, which brings a double satisfaction: to do less, better. For the Stoics, the simpler life was the more virtuous one. Virtue, for them, was not something you displayed to the outside world. It was a personal commitment to living a life of purpose and intention. And simplicity was the key to achieving that virtue. To live with less was not about asceticism or denying pleasure. It was about focusing on the essential and letting go of everything that wasn't contributing to a meaningful life. What we can learn from the Stoics today. In the 21st century, we are more connected than ever, but we are also more distracted than ever. The Stoic teachings of simplifying life have never been more relevant. Modern life tempts us with endless possibilities. You can work, play, communicate, and consume without pause. But what the Stoics remind us is that all of this complexity can lead us away from our true selves. By practicing Stoic simplicity, we reduce the noise, the distractions, and the non-essential aspects of our lives. We create space for mindfulness, focus, and purpose. We can return to what matters, living a life of virtue, grounded in self-awareness and intentionality. Simplifying your mindset. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. Epictetus. The first place to simplify is your mindset. It all starts with the way we think. The Stoics taught that much of our suffering comes not from external events, but from our thoughts about those events. Our minds are like cluttered rooms, filled with worries, anxieties, expectations, and assumptions. Simplifying your mindset means clearing out that mental clutter so you can focus on what truly matters: your own thoughts and actions. Epictetus, another key Stoic philosopher, believed that the key to a happy life was recognizing the difference between what is within our control and what is not. He emphasized that we waste a lot of energy trying to control things that are ultimately out of our hands: other people's opinions, external events, the past, and the future. Control what you can control. One of the most powerful ways to simplify your mindset is by adopting the Stoic practice of focusing only on what you can control. Epictetus's famous dichotomy of control states that there are two categories of things in life: things we can control and things we cannot. By focusing solely on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary worry and anxiety. For instance, you can't control whether or not your boss will like your work, but you can control the quality and effort you put into it. You can't control the traffic on your morning commute, but you can control how you react to it. Simplifying expectations. Our expectations are often what make life more complicated. We set ourselves up for disappointment by expecting things to go a certain way, only to become frustrated when reality doesn't match our expectations. The Stoics believed that simplifying your expectations was key to finding contentment. Seneca wrote, "He who expects nothing is never disappointed." This doesn't mean you should abandon all hopes and dreams. Rather, it means you should accept that things may not always go according to plan. When you simplify your expectations, you cultivate resilience and are better able to adapt to whatever life throws your way. The power of less in everyday life. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epictetus' simplicity, as the Stoics saw it, wasn't just a mental practice. It was also about material things. They believed that happiness doesn't come from having more, but from needing less. Epictetus, who was born into slavery and later became one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, understood that external possessions did not define a person's worth. Instead, true wealth comes from inner contentment, not from material abundance. Declutter your physical space. In modern times, consumerism often drives us to acquire more and more possessions, under the illusion that they will bring happiness. But the truth is, excess material goods often lead to stress, clutter, and a sense of overwhelm. A cluttered space can reflect a cluttered mind. By simplifying your environment, you create a peaceful space that fosters focus, creativity, and tranquility. Decluttering your physical space doesn't have to mean embracing extreme minimalism. It's about keeping only the things that add value to your life and letting go of everything else. Ask yourself, does this object serve a purpose in my life? Does it bring me joy or contribute to my well-being? Is this something I need, or is it something I'm holding on to out of habit or sentiment? By letting go of unnecessary possessions, you free up both physical and mental space. Simplify your time. One of the most overlooked aspects of simplifying life is simplifying how we spend our time. Many of us fill our schedules to the brim with obligations, social events, and distractions that leave us feeling exhausted and drained. But living a simpler life means recognizing the value of your time and choosing to spend it wisely. Seneca wrote in his famous essay on the shortness of life. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Simplifying your time means being intentional about how you spend your days. This might involve saying no more often, reducing the number of commitments you take on, and prioritizing activities that align with your values. Consider how much time you spend on distractions like social media, mindless TV watching, or unimportant tasks. By simplifying your daily schedule, you create more room for the things that truly matter, whether that's pursuing a passion, spending time with loved ones, or simply relaxing and recharging, simplifying your emotions. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Our emotions are often the greatest source of complexity in our lives. We get caught up in feelings of anger, jealousy, fear, and frustration, which can lead to conflict, stress, and emotional exhaustion. The Stoics believed that by simplifying our emotional responses, we could cultivate inner peace and resilience. Practicing emotional detachment. One of the key practices in Stoicism is apatheia, which means emotional detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent to the world around you. Rather, it's about not letting your emotions control you. By practicing emotional detachment, you free yourself from the constant ups and downs of emotional turmoil. When something upsetting happens, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it's not, then remind yourself that your emotional reaction is optional. You can choose to let go of negative emotions instead of letting them overwhelm you. Letting go of judgment. The Stoics also taught that much of our emotional suffering comes from our judgments about situations, not the situations themselves. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Take away the opinion, and the complaint is gone." In other words, it's not the events in our lives that cause us distress, but the meaning we attach to them. By simplifying your emotional responses and letting go of judgment, you gain the power to choose peace over conflict, calm over anger, and acceptance over resistance. You stop allowing external events to dictate your inner state, and you reclaim control over your emotions. Simplicity in relationships. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Seneca. Relationships can be one of the most fulfilling aspects of life, but they can also be a source of great complexity. From misunderstandings to unmet expectations, relationships often bring emotional baggage and conflict. The Stoics believed that by simplifying our relationships, we could experience deeper, more meaningful connections with others. Cultivating quality over quantity. In today's world, we often equate social success with having many friends or a large network of connections. But the Stoics believed that true friendship was about quality, not quantity. Seneca, who wrote extensively about friendship, emphasized the importance of surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, challenge you to grow, and share your values. By simplifying your social life and focusing on building deeper connections with a few close friends, you can reduce the emotional complexity that comes from superficial or toxic relationships. Setting boundaries. Another way to simplify your relationships is by setting clear boundaries. It's easy to become overwhelmed when you're constantly trying to please others, meet their expectations, or get caught up in drama. Setting boundaries allows you to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. This doesn't mean cutting people off or being rigid. It means communicating openly about your needs and limits. By setting healthy boundaries, you create space for yourself while still maintaining meaningful connections with others, simplifying your goals. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Many of us are driven by a constant desire for achievement. We set ambitious goals, strive for success, and push ourselves to accomplish more. But this constant striving can lead to burnout, stress, and a sense of never being satisfied. The Stoics believed that simplifying your goals was key to living a purposeful and fulfilling life. Aligning goals with values. One of the reasons we feel overwhelmed by our goals is that we set too many of them, and they often conflict with one another. Simplifying your goals means aligning them with your core values. Instead of chasing after every opportunity, focus on what truly matters to you. Ask yourself, what is the purpose behind this goal? Does it align with my values and long-term vision for my life? Will this goal bring me closer to a sense of fulfillment? By focusing on a few meaningful goals that align with your values, you can simplify your efforts and increase your chances of success. Embracing the present. The Stoics also taught the importance of focusing on the present moment, rather than constantly striving for future success. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." When you simplify your goals, you let go of the need to always be planning for the future, and instead, focus on what you can do today. This doesn't mean abandoning ambition. It means recognizing that true success comes from consistently showing up and doing your best in the present. By embracing the present, you simplify your approach to life and create more space for mindfulness, contentment, and peace. The path to a simple, meaningful life. Simplicity is not about deprivation or limitation. It's about removing the noise, distractions, and complexities that keep us from living fully in alignment with our true selves. By simplifying your mindset, emotions, relationships, and goals, you create space for clarity, focus, and peace. The Stoics remind us that we don't need to have more, do more, or be more to live a good life. Instead, we need to focus on what's within our control, let go of unnecessary desires, and cultivate inner contentment. Simplicity is the key to unlocking a life of purpose, meaning, and tranquility. As you continue your journey towards simplicity, remember that it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Each step you take towards simplifying your life brings you closer to a state of peace, focus, and fulfillment. Let the wisdom of the Stoics guide you, and embrace the beauty of simplicity in every aspect of your life. I encourage you to subscribe and share this journey with those who are struggling. Let's walk this path together.